Yo, 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 people, what's poppin'? It's your boy, OXSN. There is no plan for this video. It's on a whim, just like all of my fucking content at this point. Uh, what the fuck am I gonna... I don't even know what I'm talking about. If you can't tell, I have some form of a cold. Check out, I made a video like over a year ago where, I don't know, it's called like The Dark Truth of the Common Cold. And long story short, I was just saying like, your health and the symptoms of your body are derived from the way that you live, your habits, and the way that you think, etc. Epigenetics, Bruce Lipton, etc. This cold started for me when, well, it is getting cold outside, so there you go. I didn't have a cold all summer, and then as it gets colder, I get a cold. So I guess obviously I don't know what the actual origin of a cold, like I'm sure there are just bugs in the air and you catch a cold off your friend and things of this nature. However, you know, if you're like, I don't believe that it's not like, for example, last winter my mum was like perpetually like had cold and flu and stuff for like the whole time, and a lot of people do. And then I'm not hating, but like, each to their own, and I'm kind of done with trying to like change people. Just focus on yourself for the most part. But like, for example, like my mother might like wake up and have like a hot chocolate for breakfast, and like, people aren't interested in changing. I've changed a lot in my approach to how I, you know, because when it comes to like my family and the whole health shtick, for me, like I grew up in, you know, I went to school. When I was like fucking 10 years old, 13 years old, whatever the fuck, the school gave me the injections that my parents sent me to the government school, and I got the vaccines. Not making any solid statements about those, but I would definitely not have taken them if it was up to me. But it's tricky because in a culture where, like, you know, maybe if I lived in a, like, the way I see the vaccines, yeah, so like, I don't want to be like ideological. I want truth ultimately. I do really want truth. Like, I know that I can I may like have fallen into ideology and things in the past, and something that I struggle with kind of is like conspiracy. Like, I know that like there's going to be a big shift culturally and things, but every now and then I entertain conspiracy theories more, and then sometimes I take a step back and I don't even realize I'm doing it, kind of. But it's kind of like an intuitional thing. But obviously, see actualize.org's video titled The Sneaky Psychology of Conspiracy Theories. It's a very good one. But yeah, ultimately I want truth. Whatever is objectively, like, if the vaccine is objectively good, regardless of if it's the COVID one or beforehand, whatever, then I guess I get it. But it's I don't know, I just operate, when it comes to things like that, I operate with like intuition, just seeing like the way that the West operates, like everyone has coffee for breakfast and shit, which, by the way, this cold started in the midst of caffeine withdrawal. This is a serious warning I'm going to make a video about soon. Be careful about unconsciously, just like, especially when you're working. So what happened to me is like, I didn't realise, yeah, basically, I just lost my job. I lost my job because my boss has got milkshake blood because he eats fucking Rustler's burgers for breakfast, and then he projects the unconscious pain in his body onto myself. Obviously, that's not the full extent, but I'm telling you, when everyone's like fully vaccinated and they're eating pot noodles for breakfast, yeah, it's like I literally can't even talk to you, like, metaphysically. It's because you're like on a different plane, because your subconscious and your body is busy trying to like figure out what you've been feeding it for the past 40 years, and while you got this milkshake blood going around. And obviously I'm out here in the sun doing the breath work, and I'm far from perfect and I'm far from a saint. I ain't gonna lecture you, but honestly, I feel like obviously there were different reasons why I like lost my job, but really I feel like it's like if yeah, we're just on a different vibration, and I didn't used to entertain that word, but it is literally like a culture that is quite frankly very brainwashed in a lot of ways. Say like Iman Gatti on YouTube. Not that I 100% trust him. It's a bit tricky and nuanced, but like he speaks on there's videos where he speaks on like how the education system has been like programmed centuries ago, and like now we're more educated than ever, but really what that means is we're more brainwashed than ever, because I'm not saying this is absolute truth, it's just an idea. But to be fair, in my direct experience, I when I went to school, they were teaching me the food pyramid, etc., which is just like flat out bullshit. I know Jordan Peterson made videos on this, but it's common knowledge now. The youth is getting smarter. I find that the youth is getting smarter now. Fuck you, fuck the government, and fuck your crown. It's 5963 OXSN. But yeah, what I was saying with the vaccines is like potentially, maybe they will actually save your life. And I'm very ignorant when I'm speaking on this. Really, I have humility, so I'm not trying to get banned off YouTube. Which, by the way, they're my YouTube channel now, because they took down my main channel. This is my second channel, which I've now got 2 strikes on for COVID misinformation. All I said is that the COVID vaccines have resulted in people dying. Like that's a fact. I'm not gonna, but yeah, it's ridiculous. Vaccine injury is legitimately proven now, with the COVID vaccines especially. But it seems like for some reason you can't say that still, because again, brainwashing, programming, censorship. But what I'm saying is like, maybe if we lived in wiser ways with more abundant health, then we wouldn't need the vaccines. That's what I say to my sister. Like, she's given her, like, what is it, as soon as her children are born, like, they're injecting them with vaccines. I likely had that. I don't know how many fucking jabs I've had, for fuck's sake. But yeah, babies are born, and then trust the science, are more on non-compliance. So then you inject the baby with the vaccine, and maybe that will help. I'm sure, like, I don't want to be like so ignorant where I'm like, I'm not anti-vax completely. I mean, my intuition tells me that I don't want no vaccines. I know Illuminati Congo has a song explicitly that says no vaccines, and my intuition kind of goes with that. But in a culture where like everyone's running off of like refined sugar, caffeine, alcohol, and there's like radiation and shit, I could see how a vaccine, like, if we lived and we were connected to nature properly, the way that we are intended to be, and we didn't live amongst all this concrete and radiation, then maybe we wouldn't need a vaccine. If we weren't forced to work 9.5 hours a day in, like, with no sunlight, with the radio on, with toxic people. That's what I mean. It's like, not to be a complete victim. And one of the main things I wanted to say on this video is just keep your head up. Like, I know it's like, I don't know, I'll be struggling. Like, whenever I get ill, my mental health like dies. Maybe I'm just self-centered or something. Or maybe my mental health and my negative thinking is actually causing the illness. Again, with the epigenetics and Bruce Lipton. Check out a song by Mr. Traumatic called Off Grid, if you want to hear more about that. He's got some samples of Bruce Lipton in there. But yeah, like, not to just be like a victim, but it's like, you know, you have like the way that our culture works. Like, for example, I was hearing like Michael Pollan, like a psychedelic scientist, grounded Western geezer, who also speaks on reality being love. He says that caffeine likely played a part in, like, basically, it, like, the way that, like, this wage slavery and stuff works, again, which forces you to be away from sunlight, potentially forces you to breathe in dust if you're on, like, labour jobs, or around toxic chemicals, often even cleaning jobs, you're spraying toxic shit, breathing it in, like every day, always, that's going to get to you. And before I've gone to work, like when I'm sick, and it literally feels like bro, my body is like screaming at me to get out of this environment. Like I need to chill. Uh, that's what I noticed. Like I lost my job, and then, so I've had a few days off, and I'm like, oh my god, I didn't realize how like fucked. Like if I didn't, I didn't want to lose that job, but if I didn't lose that job, like I don't know. I probably would have had 10 years shaved off my life, because now that I've rested for a minute, I understand that my body was craving rest, and I couldn't get it when I was working at that place. Uh, but it depends how tuned in you are as well. I think I tend to be very sensitive to energy, uh, due to spiritual awakening. Um, but I think often people, like, I don't know, like it just depends how your mind works. Like since like awakening and psilocybin and magic mushrooms and things, yeah, my sensitivity to energy has like amped up so much where I can't do things I used to be able to do. Like when I was younger, I used to just eat and drink whatever I wanted, and like, but as I got more and more conscious, and I witnessed, see Lira Gura's video of actualize.org, awareness alone is curative. As I become conscious and I am aware, I witness what my lifestyle does to my state of mind and my inner climate. But yeah, what I was saying is like the way that our culture is, obviously, because like so I think 90% of Americans, I think I read a statistic like this, I don't know, everyone's on caffeine. I was speaking to my nan the other day. I didn't realize, like, she's like, yeah, like, you know, I can't start the day without a coffee. And everyone's going mad at me for the natural psychedelic consciousness expanding drugs. But coffee is just like a fucking, I understand that like proper organic coffee beans and stuff. Like I think there's actually health benefits. But like this whole culture is like running on freeze dried inorganic coffee just to like actually feel like themselves. Michael Pollan said the same thing. And Michael Pollan was saying basically that the culture, because caffeine is like, basically caffeine enabled the Industrial Revolution. And what I find is these jobs, like this warehouse job and stuff, and I heard Terence McKenna say this, it's like, you know, obviously the drug of choice in capitalism is caffeine. You have 2 coffee breaks a day at work. You don't have 2 weed breaks every day at work. My phone's about to run out of storage. I always had my videos like this. It just reflects the instability in my state, in my life. But basically, I got into this unconscious cycle of using caffeine every single day because I'm in a culture that runs off of caffeine. And the caffeine healed me and enabled me to do my job better. And I reflected on before I discovered the power of caffeine, and I felt weaker and less energy. And I think moderation of good quality coffee can be healthy. But it's almost like, in order to engage with the Industrial Revolution and capitalism these days, you have to take drugs. You have to take stimulants, otherwise it crushes you. But yeah, look, keep your head up. I love you. I'm running out of storage. Just have faith and love yourself.